Oi oi, welcome to Spirit Boost with me, Tim and Coco the dog. What should you boast about as a Christian? Now, believe it or not, the Bible actually says that as a Christian, you should boast about certain things. Not the most obvious comment. Normally you think Christians meek and mild shouldn't boast about anything. But it says in the book of James, believers who are poor should boast. You've got something to boast about because God has honoured you. But believers who are rich should boast that God has humbled them. Now that seems to go against everything that you will hear or see on the internet or videos or in a church about following God, because it always seems to say that if God's blessed you, if you've got something to boast about, if He's honoured you, it's because He's given you that latest BMW. But you know, God's way of doing things is very different to humanity's way of doing things. And whether you think it or not, you are actually classed as rich by the Bible standards. You might think, oh, I'm not rich, Tim, I'm not earning that much money. Well, let's just look globally. Most people earn less than £1 a day. Let's look historically over the last few millennia. The fact that you have a device that you're watching this on, that you have enough electricity to charge it up, that you have foods to eat, that even if you don't have food you can go to a food bank and get it, that you have electricity in your home, you have clean running water, you are rich. And yet the Bible says it's the poor who have something to celebrate, who can boast, because God's honoured them. How has God honoured them by being poor? Surely you'd feel like, my dog is having a hissy fit on the grass. Thank you, Coco. How can you have something to celebrate if you're poor? Because normally we assume that if you're poor, that means God's forgotten you, that life is tough, that you face hardships. Well, actually, God says that when you're poor, it means you are aware of your need for Him. So it's actually a very healthy place to be. It's a blessed place to be. It's something to boast because you recognize that you need God. So actually that is an honor. That is something to shout about and be grateful for, that God has made you aware of your need for Him, that actually you need God to provide for you, and He promises that He will provide, remember, when you seek Him first. That is a special place to be in. But when you've got money, when you've got all you need, when you've got everything provided for, you don't need God in the same way. You're not aware of God in the same way, which is actually why in the West sometimes it's so flaming hard to reach other people, because they think they've got everything they need. Why do they need God? But actually you and me need to be humble, because the Bible says that our achievements, all our wealth, are just like a tiny little flower in a field, like this one. And when the sun comes up, dries up that flower, it's gone, it's blown away, no one even remembers it. You might think you're doing some amazing things with all this money and power, but you know what, it'll be forgotten. Now I love watching programs like Dragon's Den or the American Shark Tank, living the American dream. But you know what, those people who make millions, they're just going to be forgotten in a few years' time. Who's going to be remembered? Those who have trusted in God, those who have lived all out for God, who despite the circumstances choose to follow Him and follow Him alone. Those who are going to be remembered are those who choose to follow God and follow Him alone. So my challenge for you today, you can't help if you've got money, you can't help if you're rich, but you can boast that God has humbled you. You can boast that actually God is working in your heart, making you aware of your need for Him, that those resources you have are not enough, that it's only Jesus that is enough. And if you are poor, if you're struggling, boast that God has honoured you to be in a position where you're aware of your need for Him. Let's encourage one another, let's cheer each other on, and as always, please like, comment, share this message, and I'll see you soon. Cheers. Hey, thanks for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, hit like, subscribe on YouTube, and follow us on Facebook. And if you want to get more involved in our work reaching out to young people across the UK and Europe, then you can support us by going to give.net or asking us a question below.